The mighty mushroom mind. Okay. Okay. What an interesting journey and what an interesting topic for me. Because I don't usually like to talk about anything with my personal life at all, or like what I do or who I am or, you know, whatever, but I get so many questions about it. And I think the reason I get so many questions about it is because I try to put out information about it that I want everybody to always question everything, right? Explore, never stop being a searcher, never stop exploring, trying to find new things about yourself, about the world, about everybody else. My experience with psilocybin is really interesting. A long time ago, very long now that I think about it, I made a choice to not do anything along the lines of like, I guess at the time you would say like substances of any type, because I had done all that stuff when I was super young. And, you know, I started really young in New York City, drinking and trying different drugs and all this kind of stuff, but really always from the destructive mindset. So many, many years ago, I'm not even sure how many now, maybe 12. I stopped it all after a really enlightening conversation with someone. And what they said was that what you're trying to do in your life is hard enough. It's going to take a lot out of you. Don't make it any harder. And I really felt that when I heard that. I was like, wow, I'm trying to do something out of the box. Like I'm trying to do something, because I had a 9-to-5 job. I had worked construction and in pork stores, probably why I'm a vegan. I have, but I do eat eggs occasionally. I had done everything, delivering newspapers when I was a kid. I always worked, always. But I knew that attempting to start in the business of Hollywood at an older age, at 24, was not going to be an easy task. Not for someone like me, not for because I want to reach goals. I have ideas and things that I want to do in the business for me, not for anybody else, for me. So when that person told me this, you know, going on, like I said, about 12 years ago, it was just one thing at that time. And then there was another person I met who's one of my really good friends who he didn't, you know, do anything, straight edge or whatever you want to call him. He just didn't do anything. But he read a lot and he like worked out and did all that stuff. And I was like, wow, there's another way around this. Because from a young age, I had been taught that it was part of your life. You know, my birth father liked to drink. I've heard other things. Everyone I was around when I was younger liked to unwind, I guess they would say. And a lot of times it was destructive. So I made the decision to not, and to really focus on myself and to focus on being the best version of me in my very short time here. Because there is no past, there is no future, there is just now. And in the short time I'm here, I wanted to be the best version of myself. So I kind of didn't do anything. I think in those 12 years, I maybe had a glass of wine at an event, maybe a sip or two, a champagne to celebrate something. I think I tried to smoke weed with Charlie a bunch of times. That didn't work out. I didn't care. It wasn't for me. Then I started really diving into, I guess you would say, a rabbit hole and researching psilocybin. I had done mushrooms when I was super young, like 15, 14, and I would go to Limelight in Manhattan. And chaos. But I had done a lot of it, what you would now call a macro dose of mushrooms, which is really anything over a gram of mushrooms, of psilocybin, which is the active component in mushrooms that would cause, I guess, trips or hallucinations, or, you know, different from like what oysters mushrooms do, but they're all absolutely incredible. And I've basically become like my own little mycologist during this whole journey. Mushrooms in general are absolutely one of the most incredible things that this planet has ever seen in every way. Mycelium in particular, which is the roots ultimately of the mushrooms. And I don't really, you know, I don't want to sit here and say that I'm like this high level mycologist and know stuff. I don't. I only know my experience. And like I told you, I never give opinions because opinions create adversaries. I only give from experience. So I went down this rabbit hole and I started to like really explore a lot, but I was frightened, like really frightened. Because I was like, you know, I have many different generations in my family and different people in my family who've had, you know, mental health issues and all that. And I was like, oh, you know, I know those feelings and I've experienced them all. So I was like, oh, I don't want to, you know, tap something that might, you know, cause something. So I was immediately, I think, just doing it more curiosity, thinking like I would never, because to be honest, I was frightened, which is really funny because one of the kind of mantras that I tell myself, and probably my kids are the only ones who hear it, is I'm not scared of anything. I'm not. I have no fear of death. I have no fear of anything or anyone, because why would I be? If you really look at it, what is there to fear? What's the worst case scenario in fear? You die. Okay, I've been dead before. I was dead before I got here. And now I'm here, living a conscious life. And I'll be dead after it. And it'll probably be easier the second time around. It always is. So I just never had a fear of death. You know, that was kind of part of my other journey of really clearing my head and doing whatever. So without going all over the place, because I know I will today on this Mighty Mushroom Mind preview, I started diving deeper and deeper and deeper. And then I started learning just about mushrooms and lion's mane and oyster mushrooms and all the health benefits and all this stuff that was coming from really, you know, Fantastic Fungi is a great documentary on Netflix. And Vice did a bunch of episodes that is really good about Maria Sabina and how psilocybin mushrooms came to the United States and really how they came to prominence in a way in the 70s, I think 70s or 60s. But I really went super into it. And one of the things that really got me was that I don't remember what video said it, but they said that it's your birthright. And I was like, whoa, I'm like super intrigued now. So I tried it. And I tried super little amounts, microdosing, as you would call it. And it's been a while now. Changed my life, changed everything. I can't, the only way I explain it to friends or people that I'm close to is I say, it feels like somebody woke you up. Like they tapped you and they went, hey, and you went, whoa, what's up? What's up? And then you were like, oh, wow, cool. And ultimately you learn to live in two worlds. You know that the world we're in is this world with egos and all the different things that we come to it as these shaped individuals. I said the other day, you know, all adults are is we're just mourning the loss of our childhood innocence. And I really feel that way. I think why I'm so attracted to like spending time with animals is because of their innocence, because they're just innately good. My children are innately good. It doesn't mean that they don't do bad things, because they do. They're terrorists, but they're innately good natured. They don't think about the past. They don't think about the future yet. They're just in it. And what I learned in my journey was I was in it. And as an actor, I have to be in it. And as an artist, I have to be in it. And as a really good husband, I have to be in it. And as a good friend, I have to be in it. And this was like, you're in it. And the easiest way I can explain it is like you woke up and you're in it and you're like, oh my God, wow, what a beautiful color that is. Wow, look at that. Look at nature. Look how amazing this is. Look how fantastic things are. Like, look how cool this is. And at the same time, look how irrelevant these things are, or how irrelevant what you're wearing, or like if you wear what you dig, like all this stuff is irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. Materialism seemed to take on an entirely different thing. It didn't mean that I didn't understand it. I do. It didn't mean that I stopped my longing for things. I do. But I'm conscious of it. Most people are walking zombies. They're unconscious. And I started really diving into a lot of different things. I've always been a reader. And I started really reading and seeing, like, throughout history, how intertwined, not just psilocybin, but different psychedelics had been. And again, I quote Albert Camus a lot, but, you know, absurdism, you know, is a really interesting philosophy as well, because life is absurd. It's absurd. And it means only what you give meaning to it. The only meaning life has is the meaning you give to it, not giving it to someone else to give it to you, but the meaning you give to it. So like I said earlier, why would I be scared of death when apparently I was dead for 3.7 billion years, if you follow what they've said? Because I woke up 46 years ago, and now I'm here, and then I'll go back to whatever that is. And even saying it sounds crazy, but it's not. And these are the things you start to utterly become aware of. And when you start becoming aware of this stuff, the other stuff becomes easier, because we're so caught in it all the time. So my experience with microdosing, specifically psilocybin, different strains too, different types of mushrooms, which you can easily grow on your own. And I know that it's still illegal in a lot of places. It's legal in Canada. I know it's legal in a lot of different parts of Europe. It's definitely only a few states in the United States. But again, it's your birthright. Like it's just food with benefits, like caffeine. Espresso keeps you up. Enough fruit sugar keeps you hyped. It's just another thing. No one's ever OD'd in their life on psilocybin, ever, from what I know, from what I've read. And especially in like these super minute doses. I was speaking to someone the other day. I said, for me, it's like 0.3 is like my limit, and I'm good. And I'm good. So I'm not promoting it to anyone. It's just that people, again, do your research, do what you do. I just get so many questions about it, so many. And I wish I could answer them all. I would love to, I do some, we're on our little journeys together. But it's just interesting. I would never in my right mind think that the me from 6 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever, would even be discussing it, especially with people I don't necessarily know well. But the reason I wanted to is because it's been incredible. It's been something else. It really has. And it's been, it means a lot to me at this moment in my life. It is benefited my life greatly. my relationships to nature, my relationships to this world, to really recognize the absurdity of many things. This hat, for example. No, the absurdity of like, don't get so bent out of shape about everything. It's all going to be over. And over meaning that this is going to be over. You don't fuck off. Like, don't worry about these people or these things or these, like, if it's directly impacting you, what I found is like, if something that's directly impacting me, I have to handle it. However, I have to handle it, whatever that means. What do I have to do? That's what I always say. What do you need? What can I do? What do I have to do? What can I do? And if I can't do anything in the moment, and if I can't fix anything in the moment, or I can't give you advice in the moment, then I'm just going to keep stepping, because this has nothing to do with me. And if it's something to do with me, I'm going to fix it. That's it. I've gotten so simplistic in my thoughts and so simplistic in my life. And I've hoped that I've helped a few people that have been around and been introduced, and I think it has. I think so. And if it hasn't, trying is like a big part of it. But I just think that it was something that I'm gonna, when we start this Mighty Mushroom Mind thing, I really like that, the triple M. I'll go into like a much deeper conversations with it, and we'll probably publish them like maybe on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. But it's been incredible. It's the best way I can say it. It's been incredible, because I think we're all the answers, you know them all. You know all the answers. Every question you have the answers. What is it? Who said it? Oh, I always forget his name. The philosopher said, all humanity's problems can be solved by just sitting alone in a room quietly. You know all the answers. Your first instincts are always right about a situation. You understand. There's no mistakes. The Nova effect and all those things. There's no mistakes. It's all here. It's all happening. Regardless. When people ask me, they say, how's it going? I go, it's going with or without me. It's all good. You know what I mean? Like, it's all good. And we're going to figure it out. Whatever it is. No matter what. And what my experience has found is that it's given me that permission to think like that. It's given me the permission to understand that there is that thought process. Doesn't mean I still don't have the other one. That's where the two worlds concepts come in. I understand that there's this world. And I understand that there's that world. And I try my best to acknowledge both of them. So I'm curious. Of course, I'm a curious soul by nature. And I care about people. Because, let's be honest, life is not a solo sport, just like acting is not a solo sport. If your life is better, my life would be better. Even if you're nowhere near me. Because the world knows it. You know what I mean? I'm not a fool to believe that there's ever going to be peace and harmony throughout the earth. Like I said earlier, I'm an absurdist. I believe the world is absurd. But I also know, and I've seen it with Reaper reviews, and I've seen it with theory, that some people, starting to change my mind a little, are innately good people. As long as you get the ego out of the way. Ultimately, at the end of it all, what psilocybin offers you, that I know, is it's the ego killer. There is no ego. It's just manufactured in your head. And the faster you can get rid of that, the faster you can start enjoying this life. Kill the ego, birth a life. That's ultimately what I figured out. It's helped me tremendously in my work. It's helped me tremendously in my life. It's helped me tremendously to deal with humanity, because I see the ego coming in everything with people right away. But if you get rid of that, if you don't have that, or if you're aware of it, doesn't mean you don't have it, but if you're aware of it, okay, sure. Well, that's my ego saying that. Well, let's put that in the closet. We don't need that ego right now. We want to enjoy the situation. We want to enjoy the experience. That's what it's helped me with. So I'm sure none of this made sense. And if it didn't, I guess that's the whole thing. I'm currently in the middle of microdosing right now, so I would assume that it won't make sense. But I appreciate y'all. And I hope that this was a relatively decent intro. I don't know if Justin will post this. He's going to be a part of this with me. And if he doesn't, it'll be lost in the archives forever. And if he does, there'll be more tangible ones coming with questions and all that kind of stuff that we'll talk about. But yeah, it's a game changer. It's a life changer in every aspect. All right. Mighty Mushroom Minds. Till the next time.